Mayor Ortega, members of the council, Greg Bestien here with Human Services. So just to give you kind of a quick overview, we applied for this grant just a little over a month ago, and it's through the Arizona Department of Housing. So it's for $940,000 that you can see. It was a quick turnaround. We got notification about 2 weeks ago. That's why this was an added item to your agenda. Just in a nutshell, there is $500,000 that we allocated in the proposal for room rental for the hotel, and then there's $400,000 for supportive services, case management, kind of wraparound, getting folks oriented to social determinants of health, that kind of thing. And then the $40,000 was for nutritional kind of food for them while they're in the program. So just to give you a little more information about what are the activities of the program, so I'll just kind of read through these. So we'll be serving, we think, over the next additional year, because this would allow us to continue the program for another year. So we'd be serving about another 120 adults, and that would include seniors and moms with kids, and a few dads, single dads with kids. And then what we're providing is emergency bedding, of course, for the families experiencing homelessness or to prevent homelessness, probably more like. So we have 10 rooms that we'd be continuing to rent from the hotel. And 33% of those, or 3 rooms, would be per the precepts of the proposal or the grant. We have to serve folks from the zone that are being those neighborhoods, the blocks that are being kind of shut down in Phoenix. The idea was that we would then take some of that overflow. So again, it's 3 of the 10 rooms, and we put in our proposal that we would serve specifically senior women, women with children, and families. That's the proposed folks that we would take referrals from. So we kept it very narrow in terms of who we would accept, because I think that we feel like that's probably some of the most marginalized of the population, women that are falling into homelessness. So that's the scope of what we're doing. And so the outcomes are improved health and well-being through better sleep, hygiene, security, and accessibility of services. So just in a nutshell, that's what the program is. We are, just to let you know that the Governor Hobbs, the Title 42 preparedness approach, we are meeting number 4 of her objective, and that's emergency shelter. And that will ensure migrants are sheltered while they are await transportation. So that's the piece of not only the zone, but also Title 42, according to Governor Hobbs. In another kind of piece to note is that some of the folks that we're going to be serving, the senior women and the moms with families, we have some tenant-based rental assistance vouchers that are going to be offered in September. And so we're going to be able to refer. This is just like our Housing Choice Voucher program. It'll run the same way. And so these moms, senior women, and families will be referred to those tenant-based rental assistance vouchers. So we're pretty excited about that. That's why I have Mary here from our housing office. You all know her very well. So with that, we would take any questions.
Councilwoman Whitehead.
Well, thank you, Mary and Greg. I am thrilled. Congratulations on the fast turnaround on the grant money. So we did this, was it the summer of 2020, 21, where we had the hotel. The success rate was pretty high at helping these people not only have housing in the hottest months of the year, but also getting them permanent housing. Do you have offhand the % success rate we had there?
The success?
Yeah, of
yes.
People that were housed afterwards permanently?
Yes, Mayor Ortega, members of the council, Councilwoman Whitehead. We have an 84% actually success rate, and that's for people that have participated in the program and actually gotten into housing from the program. Again, we do have a plan that we set up with each one of these participants. You can't just come in and be in the hotel. It's case managed. We want you to follow a plan, and the idea is within 30 days, that's where that 120 for the year. Within 30 days, we're going to get you transitioned into various types of housing, whether it's bridge housing, whether it's permanent supportive housing, whether it's an apartment. A lot of them, we've gotten rental assistance from Vista del Camino to provide that, getting them into the first month's rent and the security deposit and stuff like that. So we've got kind of several prongs that support these kind of programs. It's not just a one and done.
Yeah, and also we have had a pretty steep increase in the number of landlords that accept vouchers in Scottsdale. So I think that's worth noting. Mr. Goffdale should be happy to hear about that. So just thank you. And, you know, there is, everybody knows this, there's a cost to taxpayers besides the, the responsibility we have, but there's a cost to allowing people to be homeless. It definitely is worth it to invest in helping people because it saves money too. So thank you.
Councilmember Graham.
Thank you, Mayor. Greg, thank you for your presentation. Where is the hotel going? Which hotel is it? Because you said, you said it's to reserve 10 rooms in a hotel. Is that right?
Mayor Ortega, members of the council, Councilman Graham, the location of the hotel is just off of Pima and Indian Bend. So because of kind of the confidentiality of the folks that we help assist, we don't just ordinarily publicize and especially for the graciousness of the hotel to give us the rooms, but it's located just right up there by Indian Bend and Pima.
And let me see here. I'll check my notes. It's 10 rooms we have over, my question, I'm sorry. None of the dollars are going to be going towards purchasing any real estate, is that correct? This is just to rent hotels?
That's correct.
Okay. And then you mentioned 3 of 10 of the rooms are from the zone in Phoenix. How do you know they're from the zone? How do you verify that?
So, Mayor Ortega, members of the council, Councilman Graham, we know that because we were provided with the number from the city of Phoenix. We know that it's roughly 750 folks that are in the various encampments in the blocks that are down near the Human Services campus that some of you might be familiar with. And so they gave us a number and said that this is the number that we're trying to effectively take off the street. They do not want them to go. They want them to get into some kind of shelter, whether it's bridge housing like this or whether it's some other type of shelter that the city of Phoenix is providing. But we do know that we will be in contact with the numbers that they're going to be referring. But again, we wanted to be specific about who we would serve, and that's women.
But I mean, like, do you check their ID, and do they communicate names with you? I mean, how do you feel certain that it's the person was from this area?
Yes. What they provide us with is there is a by names list, and so everyone that they're meeting with as they're getting them out of the encampment environment, that's entered into a database, and yes, confidentially, we have access to that information, and they will absolutely share that with us.
So all these members, community members, they carry ID. Is that what you're saying?
And those that don't have an ID, part of the program is to get them, because a lot of times they're stolen when they're on the street and that kind of thing. It's a very dangerous place, and so we work with them through the Arizona Department of Security and everything, to get them the kind of IDs that they need. And that can sometimes take a little while, especially if they originate a birth certificate or something from out of state, we have to get that. So that's what we work on with them when they are on our case managed plan.
What would you say if somebody from like McCormick Ranch said that it feels like we're absorbing Phoenix's mismanagement of, because the zone, would you agree the zone was kind of a mismanaged was mismanaged?
Mayor Ortega, members of the council, Councilman Graham, I would not comment to that.
Okay, so there were 2 questions. So about the first question, somebody who lives in McCormick Ranch, does it feel like we're absorbing how Phoenix mismanaged this? What could we say to that?
What I would tell them is that we know we have an 84% success rate. They're case managed, and we know exactly when we exit them from the program, we know exactly where they're going. So I think that that's part of the built-in safety mechanism.
Okay, and then you mentioned we're also going to be putting, you said you used the term migrants. Can you say a little more about that?
These folks come through the border legally. They come through the border. They are sent. There's several different sites. Some of them come to Tucson. Some of them come to Florence. Some come to the Phoenix area, and there are designated. Even some church communities that actually serve those migrants, but this is very short term. The work that we do with those folks, or the nonprofit that we're going to contract with to do that work, they make sure that they get them transportation to various parts of the country where they have sponsors, and it's a very well-run system. Those churches get funding through ICE to do that kind of service, but we will be collaborating and making sure that they get on their way.
Do you look into their background or vet them as far as any criminal record or anything like that?
Mayor Ortega, members of the council, Councilman Graham. No, we do not. That is ICE. That's all work that's done when they come through the border, and when those folks are then sent to the various churches and other places, they've already been vetted at the border. So that's not something that we do on our end.
Okay. And then you also mentioned 84% success rate. Is that right?
That's correct.
And that's measured because they are they achieve some sort of housing situation, more permanent?
That's correct.
How long do you track that after? Is that something you just...
We don't currently have a mechanism where once we've exited them, we don't track them unless they still are being case managed at one of our other centers, which in some cases, like the seniors, they'll probably still be case managed at the senior center. So we can still track those individuals. But once they've moved on into apartments and they've moved out of the program, it's strictly a people power issue to try and keep track of where they are long term. We just don't have that ability.
Okay. All right, Greg, you answered my questions. Thanks for presenting to us.
Okay.
Mary, thank you.
Thank you all.
Councilwoman Caputi.
Just really quick, we all know that the homeless problem is very complex, and I think that we all get continual daily emails, what is the city doing to address this difficult problem? And this is a perfect example of something we are doing that makes a difference, that's measurable, that helps our community. So I'm actually glad that the item got pulled, because it is good for residents to see that we are doing positive things that have impact to help this problem. And again, it's only one of many things that we're doing to help solve, but I mean, great. It's great that we brought this forward and that we're doing positive things to help the problem. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, before making a motion, I would just mention that the acceptance of funds, whether they're from the county or through other jurisdictions, item number 17 today, we accepted $105,000 from the Salt River Pima Maricopa community, Indian community, our neighbors, and all of those that was passed in our consent agenda. So we will make sure we get a thank you note to them, as I always do every year. Vice Mayor, well, I would, if you have a comment, I'd like to go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a short comment. I'd like to thank you, Greg, and send our thanks to all of the staff that you work with also, because I know they're very hardworking and do a wonderful job. And we need to help folks that are having a down luck day and week and month and year. And it's been a very tough time right now between illnesses, COVID, homelessness, all these different things that have been going on, many of them totally unforeseen before they struck us in the face. And so I would like to say thank you to all of you guys. You're doing a great job, and you're really helping people that need this help. I like to see that you're getting them on their feet again so that they can turn around and become more successful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I move to adopt resolution number 12888, authorizing the contracts as shown in our agenda.
So moved.
We have motion and second. Any other discussion? Please record your vote. Mr. Graham?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, he voted no. So Graham voted no, otherwise it's 6 yes, the motion carries. Thank you very much.